After the Skitarii Marshal and the Legio Cybernetica Datasmith, it is time to look at another group of figures released by the Forge World of Mars, JOYTOY, the Skitarii Rangers. I've got all three of them, and having half robot guys acting like rangers, quote unquote, look fun enough. Boxes are not huge, in line with Space Marine intercessor figures, but the box art looks cool, and the adeptus mechanicus has its own charisma. Let's see what we have got here. Here they are, fully equipped and ready for combat. I love their style, made by armored and robotic parts, yet with soft plastic capes that will give them some more sneakiness factor. Of course, all in bright red and shiny metal, because we know that those are the best options for your exploring teams that want to keep a low profile. All unique in their own, yet with a common style that is easy to recognize. I don't know why, but they look so cool with their retro look, from the dressing to the weaponry. But let's proceed in order and see how we got to this. The three boxes include 2 arquebusiers and 1 alpha. Let's start from the latter because of no special reason, but the name. So the alpha is the leader of the Rangers, and he has quite some accessories and a backpack with a lot of trinkets and the usual ridiculously oversized weapons that 40k figures often have. By itself, the figure is quite tiny, comparable to Cadians and Sisters of Battle. Red cape and hood, the war plate protecting the torso, and those other armored legs and feet. Apparently Skitarii replaced most of their bodies with robotic parts, with often only the brain and little more remaining the only organic part. Are those robot legs the best options for sneaky movement and stealth hunting? Apparently so. You are the best soldiers among the Mars troops for this job. The backpack has all kinds of strange things attached that are made in soft plastic. No idea what they do, but they look cool and in line with the overall style, and you can play with them. He comes with this phosphor blast pistol, which is used to either hit and burn to death the target, or marking it for finishing shots from other Skitarii troops. Then we have also the arc maul, which may look as simple as a bludgeoning mace, but it will actually kill the target with energies that will shock it to death. So many fun tools in 40k. Once fully equipped, the Skitarii Ranger Alpha is a badass leader of the group. He marks targets for his comrades and finishes them with the hard hits. And it does all of this with this awesome steampunk look. Then we have 2 troop rangers that are very similar to each other, but differ in some minor details in equipment and weaponry. The first is the Skitarii Ranger with Data Theater, which is an odd name for a radio that keeps the ranger in contact with their data priest overlords. But since talking is nice but shooting is better, he's also armed with this arquebus that apparently is called Radium Jezzail. Once fully assembled, we have to play with Spot the Differences game, since they all look very similar in both the aesthetic and the articulations. These 2 rangers have an armor plate that protects the loin, while the alpha had an armor plates on both legs. But besides that, there is not much worth to tell. The real distinctive piece of equipment is the receiver of the data theater, which is dangling around on the back if not handled. Hello? Is the Omnisaya speaking? And the data theater itself can be detached from the backpack if we want. Great look for the Radium Jezzail, looks like an old rifle, but we know that this is a bit more effective. I'm not a weapon expert, but it reminds me of an early arquebus/musket and a rifle from some western movies. But it looks cool, and this is what we care about here. I'm not really fan of having a receiver hidden around, so I have decided for our ranger to talk to the command while holding the rifle at rest. You know, to better improve the hunting party performances. Finally we get to the ranger, which, in my opinion, is the most iconic of them all. The ranger armed with transuranic arquebus, which is a bombastic name for this sniper rifle that looks like a crossover from the Captain Triste movie and 40k. The retro look is great, and we are talking about some far deadlier power than simple black powder weapons, the human progress and its many advantages. Do they fire in pike and shoot square too? I'm waiting for a Skitarii tertium formation. It will be super cool, but I'm not a tabletop gamer, so I can only build on my imagination here. But let's move forward and take a look at how this ranger is. Which is quite easy since it shares a pretty much identical look, so it is another exercise of spotting the differences. I guess there are very few, which is not that bad, since I really like the look. The armor plates, the red cape and hood, the many dangling trinkets and the apparently outdated weapons only contribute to a look that I really enjoy, despite the lack of special paint ups like highlights or shading. They simply look good as they are, but I'm sure that people outside will find a way to improve them. The transuranic arquebus is a super long weapon that requires a stand for properly aiming, and this makes it a great crossover between the 40k and the 17th century of this millennium. I love how these three guys create a great cybernetic hunting party. They are small and yet they have a great presence because of their style and bright colors. It is quite fun to think that making them so easy to spot on the shelf is one of the major traits for a theoretically sneaky unit. And since we are talking about sneaky robotic guys, let's also add a Necron Deathmark from the Soutec dynasty to the group and have a look. Quite comparable to each other. In the lore, the Necrons despise these failed hybrids of organic and machines and treat them with utter contempt, like you would look at your water boiler. If we pull the Cybernetica Datasmith and the Skitarii Marshal into the mix, I think that they blend perfectly. The Marshal especially really looks like a general directing his units on the battlefield, which is actually his role. The Datasmith is still waiting for the Castellan robot, but he will be joining us soon. Finally we get to the conclusions. If you are a fan of the Adeptus Mechanicus and its confusing mix of technology and religion, these are great figures, well made, with a nice painting, cool accessories and a fascinating retro look. And in these days they are on sale in many cases and many stores, so you may find very good deals. Having said that, I pray the Omnisaya to give you a nice rest of the day and convince you to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Ciao!